What's up, YouTube? Recently, I've had some life changes and also some recent pickups. But before we get into the life changes, I'll go over what we've ended up picking up. Recently, I've made some acquisitions from Liberty Coin because they've had some good sales over the last few weeks. And I'm only doing the unboxing now because I needed some time to process some changes that's been happening and take care of some priorities. Over the next week, I'll feature some videos where I have some other unboxings from previous purchases that I haven't really made videos for. But now that I have some more free time, I'll post these videos and produce more content. This right here is a 2010 random date BU Kangaroo from Perth Mint. This is one of those coins that I wanted to purchase, but I didn't want to pay the premium for. And, it was pretty good. It was a decent price. It was $150 random date, and I'm really glad to have it be this particular one, because I do see this particular 1/10 ounce go for sale over $200. It's like $234 at AppMex, but picked it up for under $150. This leaves some room for some arbitrage deals. Either I can trade it or sell it for a little bit higher, just because this is also one of the better looking coins with the better designs, because who doesn't like two kangaroos fighting each other? In many ways, it mimics our current political situation over here in the US with our government kind of squabbling with each other. Another pickup I got under melt is this AU 1910 $10 gold Indian, which I picked up from AppMex with some e-bucks. And this one went on sale, and I was able to grab it. So I was pretty pleased with the price on that particular one. What I have coming up is also from Liberty Coin, and it was also on sale recently. It's one of those things where I went through a little buying phase because I had cashed out on some crypto, and lo and behold, here's that life changer where I ended up getting laid off from work. But I don't want you to feel sad for me or sorry for me or anything like that. Ultimately, if you've been following my channel, you would have noticed that I've been preparing for something like this for the last 3 years. So this is one of the fundamentals of stacking, and ultimately why stacking helps us save our asses. As you can see, this is a sheet of 10 2017 gold pandas, 3-gram gold pandas. And I got these because with 10% e-bucks and the price that I purchased them for, it's pretty much instantly above water. So some purchases I did make when it was under spot after I got laid off, but it's all right because I've also had to shift around a lot of my finance resources because of the layoff. As you know, some of you may or may not know, when you get laid off and you have options at work, stock options, you actually have to cash them out. So as such, I cashed them out and put some money away. The irony is the tax breaks that passed last year for this year was supposedly supposed to help hiring people, but instead you see a lot of companies doing mergers, acquisitions, share buybacks. A lot of the trickle down economics never really works and never really pans out. Really, the only ones that get rewarded are the shareholders. The irony of these acquisitions is that instead of hiring people, they're laying off people because they're restructuring and reorganizing the business. I have to say, the way I was laid off was pretty aggressive. I went into work at 8 a.m. and by 5 p.m. I had to have all my things out and about. So it makes you really question, whether or not these employers care about their company, their people. I've been working for that company for 8 years, and then I was laid off within 24 hours. Granted, I did get a severance package, which, doesn't make it so bad, but also, more importantly, I'm very comfortable now because of crypto and stacking. The combination of the two makes it not as devastating as it would have been, say, a year or 2 years ago. Fortunately for me, the type of work that I do means that I probably won't be looking for a job for too long, but I will try to find the right type of job for me, because I look at this as an opportunity. In many ways, people might look at this as a negative kind of event, but for me, it's actually very liberating, so to speak, because I wasn't too excited about what I was doing. It was a lot of old tech, and you saw on my channel what I was doing on my free time was trying to delve into new tech. So now I can try to find the one that works best for my skill set. As you can see here, I have a 2018 Proof Perth Mint dog, a lunar dog. And this will go mainly to complete my set. And the polish on this, or the mirror finish on this, is just impeccable. And kind of symbolizes the year for me that it's a dog. But that's okay, because then they can also be man's best friend as well. So the way I look at it, it's a new opportunity for me to get into an industry or move to a company that I really like to do what I like to do, which is a good thing. Until I find that position, I do intend to make some videos on some other coins and also some crypto technology, and mainly trying to teach people how to secure themselves against all the hacks and stuff like that. Better and safer ways to do tech and to work with crypto. I'm also working on developing a website while I look for work, so it's not like I'm sitting on my hands idle and stressing out about this. Fortunately, the life of a stacker requires that you sit on savings. And, this is one of those things where the plan comes through and really shines to have the effect that it's supposed to, which is to provide a cushion. So for many people, stacking is something that is for retirement, for savings, for college funds, etc. But for younger folks like myself, it's more like a safety net. And I've said this before in another video, but I usually recommend if you're going to be stacking, expect to spend it within 1 to 5 years or 5 to 10 years, especially if you're younger, because there's going to be some big purchases that you need or some life-changing events like this. Or if not this, maybe a child or a wedding or some other type of event. It could even be an accident where you need to buy a new car so you can get back to work. I mean, it all depends. The main thing, though, is that you should be prepared to spend it, and hopefully your purchases are smart when you buy, because you don't make money on the sell, you make money on the buy. In addition to the stack, it also helps to have a nice cash cushion where, recently on the last one I told you I sold out of crypto, and it just so happens that I end up losing my job. So I ended up switching some crypto over to cash and then switching some cash over to these PMs. And it's just a rebalancing of assets over and over. And really, a large part of it is just budgeting. As I spend from one allocation, as I earn from another, I need to put back the money that I spent. It's just a matter of self-discipline and whether or not you can do these kinds of things, because it is hard, because there's always that fear of worry, which it becomes debilitating and paralyzing when you're worried. What you're seeing here are two 1/2 ounce 2017 gold Libertads. I purchased these at auction and was able to pick these up at just about $700 a pop, which is pretty good for a limited mintage of 900. I was also able to pick up a 2015 for bullion price as well, so I don't consider these losses at all. I mean, I can travel and ultimately trade these trade them up. I've been fortunate with Libertads and trading them for other better things outside of the US, and mainly because the folks outside the US don't get access to Libertads as readily as we have them. So I try to trade them for things that aren't readily available here, and we'll probably look to trade the 2015 for something that is more local when I visit Australia or something. So I really want to emphasize that the stress levels are, I'm still stressed out a little bit, but not nearly as much as I would have been a year ago. And as you can see from the purchases that I pick up, for the most part, these are pretty liquid. The only ones that I might have trouble selling for at, the current value or the face value is the Panda, but those are more for the future. But the other things I can probably sell no problem above for what I paid for it. Another reason I'm not really stressed out about it is just the life of a stacker. It's pretty minimal and frugal. As I mentioned, I've been doing this 3 years, so I've cut my expenses drastically since I started doing this in order to stack both crypto and PMs and everything else, stocks, because I have been investing in all three asset classes, including real estate. The only thing, though, is that the real estate turns from an asset into a liability once you go from losing your job. So that, is one of the bigger pressures. But for now, it's not an issue. The one that is the medical insurance, which, oh my goodness, that one kind of came out of nowhere. But fortunately, there's room in my budget to cover that. And, I just have to compensate a little bit elsewhere. The important thing is to have your budget and know what your costs are and, what your running costs are, how much is in and how much out. And basically what you have left over is all savings. So for now, it looks like I'm buying a lot of stuff. But like I said, I bought a lot of this before I found out I got laid off. I'm just putting it all together now. It's just one of those things now that I have more time. So I'm, laying it out there just to let some folks know. It's not the end of the world to lose your job. A job does not define the person. The person just has to be resourceful and hopefully has taken steps beforehand to prepare for it. And those of us in the stacking community are more prepared than others, but you can never be too prepared because you never know what's going to happen. One of the first things that I did was to reevaluate all my stacks in each asset class and decide which ones to liquidate right off the bat, because right when you get the news, you got to implement the backup plan. And from there, just make sure that you have enough liquidity and get rid of the illiquid ones and make those the first ones to go, because it takes a while to get them to go. There's actually a lot of steps that need to be taken, from estate planning and redistribution and reallocation, just to make sure that you're prepared for the short to midterm. Normally we work on the long-term plan, but now when these type of situations happen, you got to readjust the short to mid. It's just one of those things. So thanks for watching along this far. If you liked the video, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you want to say something, please go ahead and say it in the comments below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.